They call me Nyx, guardian of the moon. Cold, distant, eternal. But even the moon longs for thunder. And when the god of storms touched my light, the sky itself trembled. Yet love among gods is never gentle. Because when the third dawn came, fire descended, and the heavens learned what desire could destroy. My name is Nyx, and this is the story of the storm that loved the moon and the flame that burned between us.
Welcome to another Bliss Tales video. Subscribe to my channel to keep these beautiful tales alive. New info, we have memberships and supers now where you can thank me and suggest new video ideas. Thanks for your support.
In the beginning, there was order. The celestial court ruled from towers of starlight and marble, where each god held dominion over their element, their realm, their sacred duty. I was Moon Guardian, keeper of the tides, shepherd of the night. My palace floated in silence above the world, wrapped in silver mist and the hymns of sleeping constellations. For 10,000 years, I had watched mortals dream beneath my light. For 10,000 years, I had remained unchanged, untouched, alone. They said I was perfect in my solitude, that the moon needed no companion, that coldness was my nature, distance my strength. And I believed them. I wore my isolation like armor, my stillness like a crown. The other gods spoke of passion, of chaos, of the thrill that came with loving something mortal or forbidden. I listened and felt nothing, or so I told myself. The truth was more complicated. I had watched love from my throne for millennia. I had seen mortals fall into each other's arms under my light, had witnessed their tears and laughter, their desperate promises and tender partings. I had illuminated countless first kisses, countless last goodbyes. And each time I told myself I did not envy them. Each time, I convinced myself that such feelings were beneath a god of my standing. But in the deepest hours of night, when even the stars grew quiet, I wondered what it would feel like. To be touched, to be wanted, to burn with something other than cold silver light. Until him, Strom was everything I was not. God of storms, bringer of thunder, the wild one who danced across the skies with lightning in his veins and laughter on his lips. Where I was silence, he was sound. Where I was stillness, he was motion. The mortals adored him. They built temples in his name, sang prayers to summon rain, offered sacrifices so his storms would spare their crops. He was beloved, reckless, free, and he infuriated me. Every century, the gods gathered at the celestial spire to renew the cosmic balance, to ensure the elements remained in harmony, that no single force grew too strong or too weak. It was ritual, sacred, necessary, and every century, Strom found a way to disrupt it. He would arrive late, trailing clouds and thunder, his white hair wild, his eyes blazing with electric blue light. He would bow to no one, mock the solemnity of the council, and somehow charm his way out of punishment. He mocked me most of all. "Still hiding behind your moonbeams, Nyx?" he said once, leaning against a pillar of crystal during the renewal rite, his grin sharp and infuriating. "Do you ever feel anything? Or are you just as cold as you look?" I did not answer. I never did. To engage was to acknowledge, and I refused to give him the satisfaction. But his words lingered longer than they should have. They echoed in the quiet of my palace, in the spaces between the stars. "Do you ever feel anything?" The question haunted me, because the truth was I did not know. What I did know was that I could not stop watching him. Even when I told myself I despised his chaos, I found my gaze following him through the celestial gatherings. I noticed the way his laughter could fill an entire hall, the way his presence made even the oldest gods smile. I noticed the loneliness that flickered in his eyes when he thought no one was looking, the way he would stand apart from the celebrations, staring out at the cosmos as if searching for something he could not name. We were more alike than I wanted to admit. Then came the night everything changed. A cosmic tempest, rare and violent, tore through the heavens. These storms happened once every millennium, born from the collision of divine energies at the edge of creation. They were dangerous, unpredictable, and required all gods to retreat to their sanctuaries until the chaos passed. But Strom, in his arrogance, did not retreat. He flew into the heart of the tempest, trying to tame it, to bend it to his will. I watched from my palace as lightning split the void, as thunder shook the very fabric of the sky. And then I saw him lose control. His power spiraled outward, unrestrained, a torrent of electric fury that lashed at everything in its path. One bolt, brighter and more violent than the rest, struck the lunar sphere, the heart of my domain, the source of all moonlight in the mortal world. The impact shattered the surface, cracks spreading like veins across silver stone. My light flickered. The tides below surged and collapsed. Mortals screamed as oceans rose and fell without rhythm. Pain. For the first time in millennia, I felt pain. I collapsed in my throne room, clutching my chest as the lunar sphere's agony became my own. The other gods would demand retribution. To damage another god's domain was an unforgivable transgression. Strom would be stripped of his power, cast into the void, erased from the celestial order. Part of me wanted that. Part of me hated him for his recklessness, for his inability to simply follow the rules, to exist without chaos. But when he appeared at my palace gates, drenched in rain and trembling with exhaustion, his eyes wide with something I had never seen in him before, fear, I could not turn him away. "I didn't mean to," he said, his voice barely a whisper, so different from the thunder I was used to hearing from him. "Nyx, I swear, I didn't mean to hurt you." "Hurt," he said, "hurt, not damage." As if my sphere and I were the same. As if he understood that the wound he had inflicted was not just to stone and light, but to me. I should have cast him out. I should have summoned the council, demanded justice. But instead, I stepped aside and let him in. He knelt before me, head bowed, hands shaking. Rain dripped from his hair, pooling on the marble floor of my throne room. "Punish me. I deserve it. But please, don't let them destroy me." And I realized, in that moment, that I did not want him destroyed. I wanted him alive. I wanted him whole. The realization terrified me more than the pain still radiating through my chest. "There is a way," I said, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. "A binding. I can share my essence with you, use my light to stabilize your storm. It will repair the damage, restore balance. But it will tie us together. Our powers will be linked. Your storms will move with my tides. My moonlight will pulse with your thunder." He looked up at me, eyes searching mine. "You would do that? For me?" I did not answer with words. I reached out, placed my hand over his heart, and let my light pour into him. Silver and blue intertwined, moonbeams threading through lightning, calm weaving into chaos. The bond snapped into place and I felt him. Not just his power, but his soul. His loneliness. His longing. His fear of being too much, too wild, too broken to be loved. He felt mine too. My coldness that was not strength but defense. My silence that was not peace but emptiness. My perfection that was not divinity but a mask. We stood there, bound, breathless, and for the first time in my eternal existence, I was not alone. When the binding was complete, Strom did not leave. He stayed, sitting on the steps of my throne, looking at me with wonder in his eyes. "I can feel you," he whispered. "Your light is not cold at all. It's warm, gentle. And your storm," I replied, my voice soft, "is not chaos. It's passion, life." Something shifted between us in that moment. A recognition, a truth we had both been hiding from. The days that followed were strange, beautiful, terrifying. Our powers moved in harmony now. When Strom summoned rain, my tides rose to meet it. When I called the full moon, his lightning illuminated the night in patterns that mortals had never seen. The world below changed. Sailors spoke of storms that felt gentle, of moonlit nights where thunder sang like music. Artists painted the skies in shades of silver and blue, calling it the dance of the gods. And we danced. Not in the way mortals did, but in the way elements moved together, in the way destinies entwined. He came to my palace more often. We spoke of things I had never spoken of before. He told me of his childhood, of learning to control lightning by shattering mountains, of the loneliness that came with being feared as much as adored. I told him of the weight of eternity, of watching civilizations rise and fall, of the exhaustion that came with being needed but never wanted. "You're wanted now," he said one night, as we stood on the balcony of my palace, watching the stars well overhead. "By me." I turned to him, and he was looking at me with an intensity that made my light flicker. "Strom, I know it's forbidden," he interrupted, his voice rough. "I know gods aren't supposed to feel this way, but I do. I've tried to stop. I've tried to pretend this is just the bond, just the magic linking us. But it's not. It's you, Nyx. I want you. I've wanted you for centuries, even when I pretended to mock you. Especially then." My breath caught. "You? What?" He stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the electricity crackling along his skin. "Why do you think I came to every gathering? Why do you think I made sure you noticed me? I thought if I could make you angry, make you feel something, anything, it would be enough. But it wasn't. It's never been enough. I should have refused. I should have reminded him of the laws, of the order, of the consequences. But I was tired of coldness, tired of distance, tired of pretending I did not burn beneath my silver surface. "Then take me," I whispered, and he did. His hands cupped my face, gentle despite the power thrumming through them. His lips found mine, and the kiss was everything I had never allowed myself to imagine. Soft and desperate, tender and wild. Lightning danced across my skin, and my moonlight wrapped around him like silk. We fell into each other like the sky falls into the sea, like lightning finds the earth, like the moon pulls the tide. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he pressed his forehead to mine. "I've dreamed of this," he murmured. "For so long. So have I confessed, though I never admitted it, even to myself." He kissed me again, deeper this time, his fingers threading through my silver hair, and I let myself fall, let myself feel, let myself burn with a warmth I had denied for 10,000 years. We became lovers, secret, sacred, ours. For 3 perfect months we existed in a world of our own making. We would meet in hidden corners of the cosmos, in the spaces between realms where no other gods ventured. He would pull me into his arms, kiss me until I forgot my own name, whisper promises against my skin. I would hold him close, let my light wash over him, show him the tenderness I had never known I possessed. The universe sang with our love. Mortals spoke of unprecedented beauty in the night sky, of storms that felt like embraces, of moonlight that seemed to dance. But the universe has a way of answering secrets with revelations. 3 months after our union began, the Celestial Council summoned us. A new threat had emerged. Rion, the god of fire, had returned from exile. He had been cast out centuries ago for the crime of loving a mortal, for allowing his flames to touch human skin, for daring to believe that gods and mortals could share more than worship. His punishment had been isolation in the lower skies, in the realm between heaven and earth, where no god ventured and no mortal could reach. But now he had broken free, and his fire was burning too bright, threatening to consume the barrier between realms. "You too will restrain him," the council decreed, their voices echoing through the hall of stars. "The moon and the storm, bound in balance, are the only forces strong enough to contain the flame. Bring him back to submission, or extinguish him." Extinguish. The word hung in the air like ash. I looked at Strom. He looked at me. We both knew what it meant. We both knew we had no choice. We found Rion at the edge of the world, where the sky bled into the void, where flames danced without fuel and the air shimmered with heat. He stood alone, wreathed in golden fire, his eyes like molten amber, his hair a cascade of copper and crimson. He was beautiful, dangerous, broken. Even from a distance, I could feel the loneliness radiating from him like heat from a forge. It was suffocating, overwhelming. A loneliness so deep it had carved canyons into his soul. "Come to finish me?" he asked, his voice smooth and bitter. "Come to prove that love among gods is still a sin?" Strom stepped forward, lightning crackling around his fists. "We came to bring you back, to stop you before you tear the realms apart." Rion laughed, and the sound was hollow, echoing across the void. "Tear them apart? I'm trying to hold myself together. Do you know what exile feels like? To burn and never be allowed to touch. To love and be punished for it. To exist only to remind the heavens of what happens when gods dare to feel." I felt it then, the echo of his pain in my own chest, the loneliness, the longing, the rage at a universe that demanded perfection and offered no mercy. "We know," I said quietly, and Rion's eyes snapped to mine. "We know what it is to be forbidden." His flames flickered, dimmed. "You?" Strom moved beside me, his hand finding mine. Our fingers intertwined, silver and blue light pulsing where our skin touched. "Us." Rion stared at our joined hands for a long moment. His fire dimmed further, until it was barely more than a glow. "Then you understand," he whispered. "You understand why I can't go back. Why I can't submit to their rules, their coldness, their lies that love is weakness." I did understand, and that was the problem. "Come with us," I said, and Strom's head turned sharply toward me. "Not back to the council, but to our sanctuary. We can hide you, protect you." "Nyx," Strom began, but I silenced him with a look. "They will destroy him if we bring him back, and they will destroy us if they discover what we are. But if we stand together, if we are 3 instead of 2, maybe we are strong enough to survive." Rion's eyes widened, flames sparking back to life. "You would risk everything? For me? A stranger? For someone who understands?" I corrected. "For someone who has suffered for the same crime we commit every time we touch." Strom squeezed my hand, then looked at Rion. "For someone who deserves better than exile and loneliness." And so Rion came with us, to my palace of moonlight, to Strom's domain of clouds and thunder. We created a space between our realms, a sanctuary where fire and storm and moon could coexist, where 3 gods could exist without judgment, without fear. First, it was cautious. Rion kept his distance, afraid to burn us, afraid to hope. He would stand at the edges of rooms, his fire carefully controlled, his eyes always watching, always waiting for the moment we would change our minds and cast him out. But Strom, ever reckless, drew him in. He challenged Rion to races through the sky, to contests of power, to laughter that echoed across the heavens. And slowly, carefully, Rion began to unfold. His smiles came easier. His flames burned brighter, warmer, without the desperate edge of isolation. I watched them together and felt something new growing in my chest. Not jealousy, but expansion. As if my heart, so long unused, was learning it could hold more than I had ever imagined. One evening, I found them on the balcony of my palace, Strom teaching Rion how to create lightning fire, a phenomenon that existed only in theory. They were laughing, their powers intertwining, blue and gold spiraling together. And when Rion succeeded, when the first spark of lightning fire blazed to life in his palm, Strom grabbed him and kissed him, joyful and impulsive. I should have felt excluded. Instead, I felt my light surge with happiness. When they broke apart, Rion's eyes found mine across the balcony. There was fear there and hope, and a question he was too afraid to ask. I crossed to them, my step steady. "You don't have to choose," I said softly. "There is room in this sanctuary for all of us." Rion's breath hitched. "I don't know how to do this," he whispered. "I loved once, and it destroyed me. I don't know how to love without losing myself." Strom reached out, took his hand. "Then we'll teach you, and you'll teach us, because I don't know how to love without chaos." And Nyx doesn't know how to love without distance. But together, maybe we balance each other. Rion looked at me, questions in his molten eyes. And I, who had spent eternity in silence, found words I did not know I had. Stay, I said simply. Stay with us. Let us be your sanctuary, as you are ours. I reached up, touched his face, felt the heat of his skin against my palm. He closed his eyes, leaning into the touch as if it were the first gentle thing he had felt in centuries. Perhaps it was. I'm afraid, he breathed. So are we, I replied. But we're afraid together. And then I kissed him. Soft, careful, letting my moonlight cool his flames just enough that the heat was pleasant instead of painful. He made a sound, something between a gasp and a sob, and his hands came up to grip my arms. When I pulled back, his eyes were wet. I thought I would burn alone forever, he said. Strom wrapped his arms around both of us, pulling us close. Not anymore. Never again. And so we became three. What grew between us was unlike anything the heavens had ever seen. It was not the love of myths, simple and binary. It was complex, layered, a tapestry woven from 3 different threads. Strom's passion ignited us, his laughter pulling us from darkness. He would kiss us awake in the mornings, reckless and joyful, his energy infectious. He taught us to play, to dance in the rain he created, to find joy in chaos. Rion's warmth healed us, his fire teaching us that destruction could also be creation. He was gentle in ways I had not expected, careful with his touch, always asking permission. When he kissed me, it was with reverence, as if I were something precious. When he kissed Strom, it was with gratitude, as if he could not believe his fortune. And my stillness grounded us, my light reminding us that even in chaos, there could be peace. I learned to touch without fear, to hold them both as we watched the stars, to whisper love against their skin in the dark hours before dawn. We loved in every combination, every permutation. Sometimes it was Strom and me, lightning and moonlight, wild and tender. Sometimes it was Rion and Strom, fire and storm, passion meeting passion. Sometimes it was Rion and me, flame and frost, teaching each other that opposites could not only coexist but thrive. And sometimes it was all 3 of us, tangled together in ways that had no name, kissing and touching and laughing until we forgot where one of us ended and the others began. One night, as we lay together beneath a sky we had painted in silver and blue and gold, Rion spoke. I never thought I could have this, he said, his fingers tracing patterns on Strom's chest, his head resting on my shoulder. Family, home, love that doesn't demand I be anything other than what I am. Strom turned, pressed a kiss to Rion's temple. You have it now. We all do. I held them closer, my light pulsing in time with Strom's heartbeat, with the rhythm of Rion's flames. Forever, I promised. Whatever comes, we face it together. But the universe does not allow such things to exist in secret forever. The Celestial Council discovered us 6 months later. A minor god, seeking favor, reported the anomaly in the skies, the strange harmony of moon and storm and flame, the new patterns in the heavens, the whispers among mortals of a triad of light. We were summoned, accused, condemned. The 3 of us stood before the council, hands joined, refusing to bow. Love between opposing elements is forbidden, the High Council declared, their voices cold and final. Love among 3 is an abomination. You have violated the cosmic order. You will sever the bonds, or you will be stripped of your divinity and cast into the void. Strom erupted, lightning shattering the marble floor. You call this an abomination? Look at the world. Look at what we've created. The tides are stable, the storms are balanced, the fires burn without consuming. We have made the heavens better, and you call it wrong. Order is not measured by beauty, the council replied. It is measured by obedience. You will comply or you will fall. Rion's flames dimmed, resignation settling over him like ash. I've fallen before. I can fall again. No, I said, my voice cutting through the tension. Both Strom and Rion looked at me. We don't fall. Not this time. I stepped forward, my light blazing brighter than it ever had, filling the hall with silver radiance that forced even the council to shield their eyes. You speak of order, I said, my voice ringing with a power I had never claimed before. But your order is built on fear, on the denial of truth. You say we violate the cosmic balance, but we are the balance. Moon and storm, storm and flame, flame and moon. We are the cycle, the harmony, the proof that opposing forces can coexist. And if our love can unmake the heavens, then perhaps the heavens were never perfect to begin with. Silence. Absolute. Suffocating. Then the council moved to destroy us. But we were ready. Strom unleashed his storm, lightning arcing through the hall, thunder shaking the very foundations of the celestial realm. Rion called his sacred fire, flames that did not burn but transformed, turning the council's weapons to ash, their chains to vapor. And I, the Moon Guardian who had been silent for so long, sang a song of creation, of tides and time, of the pull that kept the universe spinning. Our powers merged. Silver, blue, gold. They spiraled together, creating a vortex of light so brilliant, so powerful, that it tore a rift in the fabric of the celestial court itself. Through that rift we saw it. A new realm. A place beyond the old laws, beyond the council's reach. A heaven of our own making. Strom grabbed my hand. Rion grabbed his. And together we stood at the edge of everything we had known. Are you sure? Rion asked, his voice trembling. I looked at them both, at the storm god who had taught me to feel, at the fire god who had taught me to burn. I have never been more certain of anything. Strom grinned, wild and free. Then let's show them what three gods in love can do. We stepped through the rift together. The realm we created was unlike any that had existed before. It was not cold like the moon, not chaotic like the storm, not consuming like the flame. It was all and none. A place where night and day existed simultaneously, where rain fell upward and fire bloomed like flowers, where moonlight sang and lightning danced and flames whispered secrets. We built our palace together. 3 thrones stood equal in a hall of crystal and cloud and ember, gardens where fireflowers grew under moonlight, where storm fountains fed into pools of liquid silver, where every element we touched transformed into something new. We did not hide. We could not. Our realm shone like a beacon in the heavens, visible to every god, every mortal, every creature that looked up at the sky. The old council tried to destroy it, to erase us from existence, but they could not touch what we had built. Because our love was not a weakness. It was our foundation. That first night in our new realm, we stood together on the highest balcony, looking out at what we had created. We did it! Rion breathed, wonder in his voice. We did, Strom agreed, pulling us both close. I turned in their arms, looked at each of them in turn. I love you, I said, the words still new on my tongue but no less true. Both of you, equally, infinitely. Strom kissed me, deep and slow. I love you, Nyx, my moon, my light, my heart. Rion kissed me next, gentle and reverent. I love you. You saved me. Then Strom and Rion kissed each other, and I watched with joy instead of jealousy, understanding finally that love was not a finite resource. It was infinite, renewable, ever-expanding. We made love that night under stars we had created, on sheets woven from moonbeams and lightning and flame. We kissed and touched and whispered promises, 3 gods learning that pleasure, like love, was better when shared. We took turns worshipping each other, learning the map of divine bodies, discovering that immortality was sweetest when spent in the arms of those who chose you. And slowly the universe began to change. Gods who had hidden their own forbidden loves stepped forward, seeking sanctuary in our realm. A goddess of ice and a goddess of desert fire, who had loved in secret for millennia. A god of music and a god of silence, whose harmony had been called discord. Twin gods of sun and shadow, whose love was deemed impossible. They came to us one by one and we welcomed them. Our realm expanded, became a haven for those the old order had rejected. Mortals looked up and saw proof that the divine could be flawed, passionate, real. Artists painted us, poets sang of us, lovers whispered our names when they kissed beneath the stars. They called our constellation the Triad. 3 lights that never dimmed, never separated, never faltered. And when storms rose over the mortal seas, when moonlight touched the waves, when fire danced across the horizon, people smiled and said, "The gods are in love again." Centuries passed. The old council weakened as more gods abandoned their posts to seek freedom. The rigid structures that had governed the cosmos for eons began to crumble, replaced by something more fluid, more beautiful, more true. And we 3 remained, growing together, learning together, loving together. I stand now at the edge of our realm, Strom beside me, his hand warm in mine. Rion approaches from the gardens of flame he has cultivated, his smile bright and unguarded. He reaches us, takes Strom's other hand, and the 3 of us stand as we always have, as we always will. Equals, partners, lovers. Do you ever regret it? Rion asks sometimes, usually in the quiet hours when doubt creeps in. Leaving everything behind? And Strom and I always answer the same way. We pull him close, kiss him until he stops questioning. Remind him that we did not leave everything behind. We brought the only things that mattered. Each other. We are gods. We are lovers. We are proof that the universe can be rewritten by those brave enough to hold the pen. They call me Nyx, guardian of the moon. But I am more than that now. I am 1/3 of a whole, one piece of a love that defied eternity. One light in a constellation that will burn forever. This is the story of the storm that loved the moon, and the flame that burned between us. And it does not end, cannot end, because we are infinite. We are impossible. We are 3 gods who chose each other when the universe said we could not, and in doing so, we proved that love is the most powerful force in all creation. The storm, the moon, and the flame, forever intertwined, forever ours. In our realm, there is no loneliness, no distance, no cold that cannot be warmed, no storm that cannot be gentled, no flame that cannot be held. There is only us, 3 gods who learned that the greatest rebellion is not violence or chaos, but love. Love that refuses to be diminished. Love that expands to hold everything. Love that transforms the very fabric of existence. We kiss under stars of our own making. We hold each other through eternities. We laugh and fight and forgive and love, over and over, in an endless cycle that mirrors the cosmos itself. And somewhere below, mortals look up at our constellation and dare to believe that they too can love without limits, that they too can defy the orders that seek to cage their hearts. We have become more than gods. We have become hope. When the heavens forbid love, love rewrites the heavens. 3 gods, 3 souls, one unbreakable bond. If you believe that true love knows no limits, no rules, no boundaries, this story was written for you.
If you loved this video, show me some support by subscribing and clicking the notification bell.